in honor of International Women's Month, you, of course, Carlos, host your own women's centric show, Queen's Road. This week, you guys had the Mount Rushmore of women who inspire you as a wrestling fan. So I just really quickly wanted to jump in on that. My four women obviously aren't going to be independent wrestling related, so it's the one thing we're going to discuss here on the show that really doesn't tie into the typical hot dog and a handshake theme, but I just wanted to get my four women in. I wanted to congratulate you. That was a great piece that you guys did yesterday. I watched the show back and was so inspired I wanted to jump in with my own here. So if you'll go ahead, producer man, and bring up the share screen for my first one, Lita. Lita is definitely one that inspired me. I got to see Amy Dumas originally when she was on ECW TV as Miss Congeniality, and then she made the transition, of course, to WWF as Lita, originally aside S.A. Rios. But just seeing a woman that was so daring and willing to go out there and do these aerial high-fly maneuvers that most women, if we're being honest, traditionally wouldn't attempt. Because there's the stereotype of women being these fragile creatures. And this was the kind of beginning of that shift in the WWF again, from getting away from divas to bringing in real women's wrestlers. So Amy Dumas, Lita is definitely on my list. Next up, producer man, Bianca Belair. I just think that she is a fantastic role model for women, but especially young African American women. It's no secret that I'm not exactly the biggest Mercedes Moné Sasha Banks fanatic, but that match literally made me cry when I saw it the first time. Seeing two African American women in the main event of WrestleMania, seeing Bianca win her first championship, and just everything that she represents to the little girls out there, I think is just so good, so admirable. And I just love everything that Bianca does and hope she comes back from her finger injury very soon. Next up, a little bit controversial, I'm sure, but Jade Cargill. She gets such a bad rap for being not the greatest performer, but it doesn't stop her from going out there and trying on a consistent basis. And I think that's what I take from Jade more than anything, is just go out there and try. Fuck what the haters say. You're out there doing what you know in your gut is your best. And she's been made champion of two different companies as a result of it. The inaugural TBS champion over in AEW, and she's been a tag and now a world champion for the women over in WWE. She's definitely into cosplay, which I won't sit here and say that I've cosplayed a lot in my life, but I have on occasion dressed up as comic book characters. I do have pictures on my Facebook of me dressed as the Riddler from Batman. So shout out to Jade. And then the last one, go ahead and bring it up. Kind of talked a little bit last night in your space post Raw about this young lady, but Thea Hale. 22 years old is this girl. And she just looks like she is having the time of her life out there, whether she's in the match or at ringside every week on NXT. Her performances, her energy, her charisma are part of what captivated me and drew me into a project that everybody told me was less than. Because I was coming in way after the quote-unquote glory days. And it was this young lady running around, screaming, acting like a nut, that just instantaneously made me take note of her. And zany is okay. I consider myself a pretty zany guy. You know, James is on shows with me on a consistent basis. He can vouch for how crazy I can get. And seeing Thea be that way on a professional level just reminds us that it's okay to be a little bit nuts sometimes and have fun. Because at the end of the day, it's what professional wrestling is supposed to be, fun. Whether it's the independent level or the professional level, have fun. So those are my 4.
Very good. Just wanted to highlight this comment real quick from Reed. Again, shout out Game Changer World Podcast. The fact that one of their members shows up to our shit every time is nuts to me. Sarah Del Rey, Masimoto, Jackie Moore, and Luna, really good options. That's a really solid list for a Mount Rushmore as well, Reed.
I love that. Yep.
Really quick, Carlos, what do you think of my list?
I like it. You know, I love it for the reasons that you said. Like the thing I was trying to get across to this, because again, on our Wrestle Collective panel, it's 3 men and 1 woman, and so the thing I was trying to get across to people is women can be role models for men too. And I know it's so easy to sometimes want to sexualize a woman or like her because she's pretty or what things she can do, but when you pay attention to the storylines and you see what they're going through and you see their struggles, you know, like even when you mentioned Jay, that's the reason I kind of did my little foray with Nia Jax, you know, like the mental health and how these women are role models and they show people like, yeah, I get shit up, but at the same time I get up the next day and I get up because I have to. Like no one's gonna. You gotta be in life. You gotta be your biggest advocate. And I think all these women that you said, they all did that. They broke barriers. They showed that the women can do what they can do just as good as the men can. I love all your choices. Really well done. Thank you. And again, honor that you were inspired by us. Like that's what it's about. Let's inspire each other through the content that we make. Because these wrestlers, again, they deserve their flowers, and so thank you for that.
Yeah, 100%. You know, I know it may sound weird to say, but like I originally tuned into AEW because Punk had come back there. You know, I wasn't really watching AEW before that. I tuned in because of Punk. I kept watching because of Jade. There was something about her that first time when I saw her that just pulled me in. She just has that natural charisma. You can like her, you can hate her, you can say she's a crappy wrestler, whatever. More than one thing can be true at once. But there was just something magnetic about her personality that I saw her, I heard that Storm music, and I was just instantly drawn into her. And then just her presentation made me want to see what she was going to do next, from the baddies to her little rivalries with like Bow Wow and everything, and the little hip hoppers that they were bringing in because of her and the crossover appeal. Just, there was something there that really brought me in to what at that point was, you know, not as celebrated women's division, and now AEW's women's division is very much celebrated. So there you go.